Hey, everybody, it's Dave here from Vikings First and SKOL, and we're live at the 2-minute warning. As you can see on my face, this game isn't going exactly as planned. Unfortunately, the Vikings trail with 2 minutes left, 28-20. And it's, as Mary says, been a painful night. So, going to get going right now with the roll-in. Welcome to Vikings First and SKOL's live at the 2-minute warning. Next. Hey, everybody. I know this game has not gone like everybody had planned. Vikings started out fast. Jefferson, Jones, score. Then they did it on the second drive. Jefferson, Jones, score. And then they went away from Jefferson and Jones. And the defense has played like meh. Tons of penalties. Hey there, Chris. Glad you could join us. Hey, Michael. Glad you could join us. But this game has not gone the way we wanted. Unfortunately, hey, stuff happens. Is it 2016? No. But it's a shame that we have not gone ahead and beat these guys. Yeah, John, defense with a lot of penalties. Without a doubt, they have. And it's a shame. Oi. Now, it is what it is. We have a long week. We get our tight end back. Yay. Mr. Hawkinson next week. Unless for some reason they don't activate him tomorrow. And they must tomorrow by 3 p.m. Central. Hey, fourth down. Rams. Minute 53 and counting, or minute 53. Clock stopped. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, Chris, defense wasn't great, but the offense, like I said, they looked great the first two drives in the first quarter, and then they took their foot off the gas. They tried to switch it up, and I don't know what happened, why they did that. Now, prayers up to Mr. Christian Darrisaw, and hopefully his knee, is what it looked like to me, won't be that serious. Punts away, goes out of bounds about the 2. See where they mark it? Right around the 3. All right, we've got a long drive. Minute 46 left. Vikings need to drive the field. We'll see. Our Emmer says Jared Verse, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Well, I don't know if I'll give him that, but they just turned off the lights in the stadium. Fun. All right. Biggs, sure not looking that way. How much have they missed Blake Cashman? It seems like the communication on the defense has been off without him in there. And they've given up most of their points in these last 2 games. It's just crazy. All right. Ball's back. Darnold throws way short. To Addison. Addison got molested, but there's a flag on the play. Mary says Naylor's drop was huge. Yes, it was. Illegal motion. Offense. Hey, let's go backwards. Hey, at least. Oh, it's declined. Okay. Second down and 10. Yeah, Mary, another penalty. It's crazy. All right, Darnold lined up in shotgun, waving his hands, tapping his helmet. Jefferson crossing the backfield. 2 wide. 1 on the right. From the end zone, Darnold sacked safety. Cool. Grabbed his face mask, but do you think they threw the penalty on that? No, it's just a sack. Freaking crazy. Going to bring in my second host, and it's not Darren. Let me turn off Darren's name. Oh, my second host isn't quite ready yet. Here we go. There she is, Miss Sal Spice. And she has no audio. It's obviously got a headache or something. Yeah, that was a face mask. I would call it that. Obvious on the... crazy. Do you think we're going to get a replay and call for a face mask? Can they challenge it? Who knows? Your audio is not working. I heard something. There you go. You got audio.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Turn down your TV a little bit, please. The fact that was a face mask. Should be 15 yards. He even knew it, and they didn't call it. Crazy.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Score is 30-20 with 1:36 seconds left. And the Vikings are going to punt it on the free kick because of the safety. Just to let you know. Timeout. First timeout by the Rams. Yeah, Derek, this officiating crew has been horrible. Michael, can't even right now. Mm-hmm. We all feel that way, brother. We all feel that way. Yeah, and the Rams sidelines, all smiles. Well, go yourselves. Blatant. Anymore, and it would have given him whiplash. Pigs, why even play the game is over. Because there's still 1:36 on the clock. And almost popped straight up. What kind of kick was that? That was crazy. Obviously had to be done on purpose. I hope. That kick maybe went 15 yards. I hope that was done on purpose. Oh. Well, folks. Second loss in a row. Somebody said this might be like a trap game. Well, sure, possibly looks like it. Wow. And victory formation by the Rams. Absolutely crazy. Biggs says we don't need any more injuries. Well, you don't have to worry about it, Biggs. They're doing the victory formation. It keeps the Rams alive. We dropped to 5-2. This one to a conference phone.
Chris, we need our comfort animal, Dolly. You going to see my new comfort animal?
You got a new one?
I got a new one today.
Oh.
It's her
I didn't
first
know
time
Thor
watching.
was with you.
Oh, no. No, it's a girl.
Girl? Who is it?
Fuck. Do you want to meet her?
Yeah.
Or Tyler?
Oh, we can wait for Tyler. Tyler will be happy.
I'll get
23 seconds. Game's over. They just need them.
And she's never been on camera, so it's a lot of firsts.
Oh, okay.
So hold on.
Okay, we're holding. And the final score is Vikings 20, Rams 30. The Vikings dropped to 5-2 on the season. Jason says 5-0 and missing the playoffs like 2016. I don't think so, but we'll see. Chris is intrigued. Chris Thompson is intrigued, wants to meet her. George, you ain't kidding. It was bad, 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 and sloppy. Oh, look at the cutie.
Yeah.
She's adorable. A Frenchie. I saw her online, I believe.
She looks thrilled.
Yeah.
This is her first.
Erp. They make noises too. Ah, she's adorable.
Oh my God. So this is her first time watching football, and this is what you got to look forward to, girlfriend.
What's her name?
So this is Drew Barrymore.
Oh.
I think we might need to rename her though.
Okay.
And Underdog Rescue. This is her first day of freedom.
Ah.
She smells really bad. She smells very bad.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll get it cleaned up and smelling healthy.
Yeah, I didn't have time to give her a bath yet, but yeah, isn't she cute? I think she's going to be a lot of
fun. I think so too.
So I can't wait to show her to Tyler.
Jonas says, first time he's called it, but fuck the refs. Pardon my French. Or my German, I should say. And he translated that from German. Obviously, Jonas has to get some sleep because it's like 6 a.m. and he has to go to work within a couple hours. Die-hard Vikings fan that stays up for these games. Swerve says his interest is waned. Not an NFC game team. Well, we have Sam Darnold. It's a transition season. It's what it's supposed to be. Broken Tubing says the Lions can take the Vikings. George says expectations never too high, never too low. Brian says awesome puppy to Miss Drew there.
Thanks, Brian. We're trying to get a sad selfie for the Twitters.
I thought it was funny when you were trying to take a selfie while you were on with Ted and Drew and Chris.
Yeah, it's fun with those guys. Did you have fun with them?
Yeah, always.
Is Darren standing us up?
I don't know. Sure looks like it. He should be around. Let me ping him real quick.
God, this dog smells terrible. Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
But It's 5:12 in Germany, and his alarm goes off at 6:45. Get at least an hour and a half sleep there, buddy. Go to bed. We'll talk to you online. Lions hangover is real. Well, this is another thing that goes to that stat. At this rate, 6.5 games looks accurate. Oh, I don't know about it. We've got a lot of football left ahead of us against some pretty soft teams, but we'll see. Horn God says we need better C cornerback and D line. Mm-hmm. George Blunt, that face mask, though, how was that missed? Well,
that's a good question. Even Drew could see it,
yeah.
George. Even Drew could see it.
Mm-hmm. It is. Chris says she kind of looks like Yoda.
She sounds like she's got black eyes like Yoda, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring on Darren.
Darren.
And there's Darren. I got to bring Sal back on. Here we go. Boom.
Hi, Darren.
She's a lot better looking than me, so you better get her back on there.
We're talking about Drew, the new puppy.
Drew?
Oh, yes. Look at
He's
that
pretty
cute
good looking.
guy.
Yeah, Jonas, we want your dog.
Yep.
On.
We're quite dog friendly.
I'm going to have to put this one down, though, because she smells really bad.
Rab, I feel bad for Justin Jefferson. Send him to the Lions. No, Rab, that's not going to happen. The only game he saw for Riley O'Brien was the face mask, and it wasn't called. Yep. That's just, and people are still upset over that face mask. I don't think, even if it was called, yeah, we wouldn't have got it could have kept that drive alive, and who knows what happens. But they were still behind. And my question is, why did they go away from Jefferson Jones on the first two drives to change it up in the second quarter and third quarter? I mean, they got some of it back in the third, but why? That's what I want to know is why. Hey there, Tyler. Maybe you can answer the question. That good, huh? Oh, yeah.
Listen, I think this game can be boiled down to one thing, gentlemen, and Sal when she comes back.
Oh, she's back. I just got to bring her on.
The Vikings' talent voids were on full display tonight. I think this game boils down to that. This was a very bad offensive line that the Vikings were playing, a very beat-up offensive line, and they couldn't generate any pressure. I thought Jonathan Grenard was great. Problem was, he was going around the edge, and Matt Stafford could just step right up and didn't even have to worry about it because nobody was getting pressure from the interior. So you have that. You have cornerbacks who are fine, and they're relatively okay individually. But when you look at what their overall skill sets are, you can't ask these guys to end up like playing a lot of man coverage, which I think Brian Flores tried to transition to doing a lot more of tonight because, okay, some of this like quarter zone isn't working with a lot of my blitzes. Let's try man coverage. Well, that didn't work either. And one of the big things here is you don't have the corners to be able to play all the man coverage that Brian Flores really wants to do. And you don't have the interior guys to be able to move the pocket, get pressure up the middle. And one of the things that was so great about the first few games of the season is Brian Flores was able to scheme around it. He was able to generate pressure with a lot of his aggressive blitzes. He was able to generate pressure with Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard. He was able to do a lot of these things. He was able to confuse the quarterbacks with simulated pressures and how he was using all these cover zero looks in these exotic ways. The problem is when brass tacks comes around They don't have the dudes at defensive tackle or cornerback to man up and play bully ball. They just don't. They got whipped tonight by a poor offensive line and 2 really good wide receivers and a quarterback who's probably going to end up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There's no shame in losing to this team. I don't care what 2-4 says. This is a better team than 2-4. But it was how they lost that was so incredibly discouraging and so frustrating. They need to find a way to get a really high impact player on the interior now. They need to call for Jeffrey Simmons. They need to call for Dexter Lawrence. This isn't we should do this because it sounds like a good idea. They should do it because they need it. They can't do anything on the interior right now. And the first few games, Harrison Phillips, Jonathan Bullard, Jerry Tillery, fine. They were fine when it came to pass rush. This was an abject disaster on the interior, and they need to fix it. They need to fix it now. You can't wait till the draft. If you think this is a Super Bowl quality team, which I still think that it can be, you have to fix that now, or go get an alpha in coverage. Because if you know you can't pressure from the interior, you have an alpha in coverage. It's going to make it a lot harder to be able to attack down the field. They have to do something. And they have 10 days to kind of figure that piece out, and they have an extended bye to figure out how to fix scheming around this defense.
Okay.
It's all personnel.
But is that more important than a left tackle? Like, where's the priority now? Because this is terrifying.
I think Quessenberry did fine.
If Quessenberry has to start 2 games, that's fine. I'm not super concerned about the Colts pass rush. I think Jared Verse is better than both of the guys they have. Like, Verse is top 10 in pressures overall, not just for a rookie. He's been playing really, really well. Like, if Darrisaw misses a little bit of time, like, we did fine in 2022. Blake Brandel stepped in. They gave him some chips, and he was solid. I think if you do the same thing for Quessenberry, I think they'll be okay. Now, do you want to lose Darrisaw? No, but he's probably out 1 to 2 weeks. He may even play against the Colts. I think it's an MCL sprain. And if it's a grade 1 sprain, it's 1 to 3 weeks. If it's grade 2, that's what Jordan Love had. That's 3 to 6. So we'll see. We'll see. But man, you gotta find a way to improve the defense talent wise. Scheming only gets you so far, and I think that's up.
Mm-hmm. And we got to get Cashman back. Something terrible. Communication has been an issue the last 2 weeks on that defensive side. And he's key to that. Darren?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, no matter what you do, like the personnel on the other side that's facing you is going to get you. In the past 2 weeks, the Rams and the Lions have done that to this defense. Now, next week against the Colts, and then the Titans after that, and then in the next 3 weeks, the offensive personnel might not be able to do what these past 2 offenses have done, and then we'll be all happy about the Vikings again. and if they win 3 in a row and think they're back healthy again, and they will be kind of healthy a bit, the confidence does help you as well. But the issues, as Tyler pointed out, are the issues. They're not going to go away. And I'm sure that Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell, the whole front office, will look at what's happened the last 2 games and think that, we can win and get to the playoffs with this team, but we need something. We need to try at least add something on the defensive side to get beyond that. I think all of us here, all 4 of us, would say we're kind of done with the Vikings, being happy with the Vikings getting to the playoffs and then maybe winning a game. We want them to go to the Super Bowl and win the fucking thing. And so, the front office has to try to do something to rectify this. Next year, like we were saying Saturday, Dave, next year, you don't know, even with all these same players back and some new ones, we might not even have the same great results that we've had this far. So maximize your chance, see what you can get. Is Jeffrey Simmons available? Is Dexter Lawrence available? If I were the Titans and the Giants, I wouldn't be too keen on trading them. And I don't know, if you talk about a lockdown corner, I've seen J.C. Horn thrown around there. I don't know if he's a lockdown corner or not, but somebody that might be available. Yeah, try something. And if you got to give up a couple of draft picks for it, well, they're draft picks at this point. They're not players.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought we lost on the line of scrimmage today. Just couldn't get the run game going after the first quarter. It seemed to be only get like 60. I think Jones didn't even end up with 60 rushing yards, I think, and he had 19 carries against this defense. The way they've been giving up rushing yards is bad. And the first quarter and maybe the first half, the offensive line was fine, but then second half, I think things got away from us a bit, and that was surprising to me.
Jones, 19 carries, 58 yards.
I never felt like they were going to take control of that game and step up and win, which I've had confidence in them doing that every game up until now. They just didn't, I don't know. They didn't seem like they had confidence. It wasn't a good look.
Yes, but you have a Frenchie.
No, now this is a very good look right here.
That is a perfect look.
She's gonna be a fun one. I only got her today. I want to say at like 4:30 p.m. and she's got the craziest personality already. She's hilarious.
Awesome.
Very calm and well behaved on there, Sal, on the just sitting there nice and calm for the camera.
Yeah, and I mean she's a puppy mill release, so she's never even been in a house before, and so today, I don't know, she's making strides. We'll have her in a Vikings uniform before you know it.
I like the sound of that.
She's fast,
speaking of
actually.
uniforms, yeah, I think we should have a conversation about the refs. I was fine with the refs until that final call. If I'm not going to say the refs were the cause for the Vikings losing the game, but for them to be robbed of that final drive to be able to try and make anything happen with the fact that there were refs just staring at it and missed it. Like, I get it. You could tell he's got a little bit of the shoulder pad, but you can see the head twist. You can see it twist. The fact there's two guys back there, they both miss it, is unconscionable. You can't have that. Like the three third downs in the first half, like the third downs in the first half where the Rams drives got extended. Like, I didn't have an issue with those calls. Byron Murphy had the jersey in his hand. You can't do that. They're going to call that. Stephon Gilmore did not look back for the football and ran into the receiver. You can't do that. Jihad Ward's hand got in the face mask. You can't do that. They're going to call those every time. You have to play smarter, more disciplined football. That call against Sam Darnold, brutal, awful. Everybody should be ashamed of that call, and they should find a way to fix it. You can't have that. The Vikings didn't lose because of the refs, but they certainly weren't on a playing field that was 100% fair.
Thanks, Biggs.
When your helmet goes like that, there's no way that some part of the face mask was not grabbed. And I can't recall ever seeing, well, maybe Chad Greenway got away with one time in the Superdome about that they showed on the big Jumbotron that they weren't happy about with the Saints. But that was a bad one. Not the reason we lost, and who knows what happens, but hard to believe that they missed that one. And, they were fine getting the one on Kyren Williams in the first half. Didn't seem to have a problem spotting that one, and there were more guys around him. So anyway. What
Big
do you do?
On, Dad, thanks for the super chat.
5-2, that's what I keep on telling myself.
Says teams no to dink and dunk on Flores. He's done.
He's not done. Next game, they might hold the next game, they're going to hold the Colts to 14 points. And then he's going to be a genius again.
We don't need to get embarrassed in front of I mute myself?
Well, I didn't hear you for a time. Oh, you're good now. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I would say they put us in prime time. We better not do this again.
I forgot about that. Yes, they did.
Yeah. Yeah. So
next Sunday night. But it is what it is. Now, what did you think of the offensive miscues? I saw twice where Bradbury didn't snap the ball, and all four other linemen moved.
Wes Phillips talked about this a couple weeks ago because he was asked about the fact that through 5 games, the Vikings had so many false starts and so many pre-snap penalties. And one of the things he talked about, and he didn't use it as an excuse, but he did talk about the fact that with Darnold, you're learning a different cadence, and there's some difficulties with that different cadence. Not only are you learning a cadence, you're learning like 6. And they have they have had some issues being able to kind of work through that and be able to know which one they're on, and they're making mistakes because of it. That I think is continuing to manifest itself.
Active games into it.
Listen, this isn't me saying it's okay. This isn't me saying it's like an excuse. I think this is just the reality that they are struggling with Sam Darnold's cadence, whether it be Darnold's fault or whoever's committing these false starts, because something is disconnecting. That's my read on it. I think what Wes Phillips said was fair and valid, and they need to find a way to fix it, and they just haven't. You can't keep having these penalties. It's fine weeks 1, 2, and 3 because you're really still learning and you're getting acclimated to Darnold. You only have so much practice time in full pads. You only have this, that, and the other thing. But you are
barely played in a preseason,
7,
yada yada.
Week 8, that needs to be fixed by now, and it's not. And especially tonight was a quasi home game. You had to fly 3.5 hours to Los Angeles, but it was not a partisan crowd for the Los Angeles Rams. It was a bipartisan crowd.
Reportedly 60 to 70% of people were in purple.
Yeah. You can't have that. You just can't.
No. And I saw someone brought up the Naylor drop. That was atrocious.
Well, I think he was looking to turn around and run before he caught the fucking thing. And he dropped it all right through his hands. And yeah, then you settle for 3, just like you did the drive before, and the Rams are scoring touchdowns. So not great. 5-2.
Still,
yeah,
a decent record.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, losses like this are real deflators, of course. Like last week, we were much more sane about the loss, and the Vikings did some things that we didn't like. The defense was sieve-like for a time, but they played the top team in the NFL, perhaps, and they had it. It was right there to the end. They lost by 2 points. This one, the Rams are better than their record when they're healthy, but still, considering some of the injuries they have and on the offensive line in particular, and the defense not being that great overall this season, this is just a disheartening loss for sure. And Sean McVay beat around Brian Flores, was 3 steps ahead of him all game. When the pressure stuff didn't work in the first half, I thought Flores went more conservative and was just rushing 4 for a lot of the time. The second half, that didn't work either. Just nothing worked.
Big said his daughter was at the game. It was a home game. Yep. Hey,
Well,
O'Connell just clarified the injury for Darrisaw, left knee. They're keeping their fingers crossed that we get some positive news. Oh, that's a good sign, because he could have just said, "Yeah, we're not expecting it. We think it could be bad." Like, they believe it could be relatively okay.
The MRI.
Yeah, but no, but that leaves the door open for hope, and I think that's a good thing. Because they were doing stability tests. The way that he got his leg rolled up on, that's almost never an ACL. That's almost always the MCL or high ankle. I think it was an MCL because you kind of saw the ankle move, but it didn't like bend like a really bad high ankle sprain. So like I thought it was fine. I hope he's okay, because if it's a grade 1, he could play in 10 days, which would be awesome.
That would be something. If that's the case, let's hope. Because we sure need him on that offensive side. Freddie says, Twitter doctor says it could be an MCL. Hey, nobody knows until they do the MRI, which is better than when I played. Well, I played, they'd take the knee and go beep, 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 and move it around, grab your ankle.
And then say, get back out there and play.
Hey, I want to thank everybody that's joined us tonight. I saw we were up to at least 2:30. That is great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Biggs with another super chat. Is Kwesi going to make deals? We need one.
Yeah. Doogie did report that they're willing to deal their first round pick. I think it's going to be one of two things. One, you give like a 5th or a 7th round pick for like a rental player, or you give up high draft capital for a TJ Hawkinson-esque trade where you're getting a guy who can help you long term that's likely already signed to a contract extension, which also makes it a little bit easier for you because you don't have any dead money attached to it, which is like, I'm talking like if you end up moving on from the guy, there's no dead money. So I think they're gonna try really hard to end up getting that guy.
Well, we've all identified who we want. Let's see if they can make it happen, and that's going to be questionable because teams could say, nope, there are building blocks. We're keeping them. So.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem about trading for like an established guy who could be a long-term fixture. You have to find somebody willing to trade you them. Mm-hmm. And I had sources tell me that the Vikings were inquiring about Jeffrey Simmons, and then within an hour, they said that the Titans had no intentions of trading Jeffrey Simmons. But we all know how the word intentions works, right? Mm-hmm. Vikings didn't have any intentions of trading Percy Harvin. They didn't have any intentions of trading Stephon Diggs, and they traded both of those guys. So I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm keeping it at arm's length, but we'll see on Jeffrey Simmons.
Mm-hmm. That pup is just snoozing. Tired. Long day.
Long day. I know. It's a long. I mean, it's our first day. Fan. It's only gonna get rougher from here, girlfriend. Her name is Drew, actually. Drew Barrymore. But I think we need to tweak it. Make it maybe a little more punny or something.
Ted wants one of your mocha booze things.
Those were gross. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Just I'm looking at who the Bears play. Okay, they play the Commanders. Who do the Packers play? The Jags.
And the Lions. Bears might be the Commanders without Daniels at quarterback. So
Daniels did practice today, for what it's worth.
Well, that's encouraging, but we shall see. Their defense is pretty good. I think Bears got a home game. Even if Daniels plays, certainly no guarantee they're going to beat the Bears. But
what the heck is going on?
Disgusting Act says, if Darrisaw is done, just ride it out and keep the pick. Hey,
I think if you trade your first round pick, you're acquiring a guy that's going to help you with JJ McCarthy at quarterback, and he can help you this year too. Like the thing with the NFL draft is there's not very many first round caliber talents in this year's draft. So having a first round pick this year kind of sucks, especially if it's going to be on the back end. So if you still think that you can make this run, which I think, like, there's things to be fixed and cleaned up, but it wasn't like the Vikings were a complete disaster. The offense was able to move the football relatively well. They were able to do some things. So if you're able to kind of mend the ship, take this 10 days and fix some things, then I think you can potentially still make that run. Like, every team has warts. This is the Vikings' warts right now. And if you find a guy that can help you in JJ McCarthy's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th years and use that first round pick, I still think it's a move worth making, especially if it's a stud defensive tackle. They don't grow on trees. They are hard to find.
And if it was Jeffrey Simmons or Sexy Dexy, they're proven. You're not hoping for a first rounder to develop into a stud. Because as we know, even in the first round, they're not guaranteed.
That's the approach that the Rams took for a few years, right? They didn't have a first rounder from 2018 or whatever onward until this year, Les Snead kept on, Jalen Ramsey, et cetera, because he felt those were guys who are going to put him over the top, and they did win a Super Bowl that way. So, like you guys say,
and I think the big thing with the idea of going full Rams, which has been a topic of conversation, because Kwesi was asked about it, he said, "No, we're not going to go full Rams." Difference between going full Rams and making a move to get a Dexter Lawrence or Jeffrey Simmons, because you're making one move. You're not completely avoiding all your draft capital and just trying to get veteran after veteran after veteran. You're making one calculated move to go get a guy. They did that once with TJ Hawkinson. If you can get a guy like Simmons or Lawrence, that's worth the move. But I'm not giving up that draft capital solely for one, like anybody. If anybody calls and be like, "Hey, we'll give you this. We want your first." No, it's got to be the right move. And I think those two would be the right move to be willing to give up that first. Maybe if you can get Denzel Ward, but I don't think he's on the block. I don't think they're willing to move him.
Going to be interesting.
No.
And every team has lulls, right? Like, look, not everybody, but lots of people were freaking out about the Ravens when they went 0-2 at the start of the season. What's wrong with them? Like, are they going to make the playoffs? Then they ruled off 5 straight games, and everybody's talking about them being one of the top teams in the league. So I'd rather, if the Vikings are going to have a lull, I'd rather them have it now, instead of like what happened in 2022 when we started off so great, but then went 5-3 down the stretch. And really, a couple of those games we won, like particularly the Colts game, you needed the comeback of the ages to win it. And we didn't really look like a team that was going to do anything in the playoffs anyway, and we didn't. So how about we end the season strong, have our lull now, reel off a bunch of wins at the end of the season, make the playoffs, win the NFC North, kick some ass in the playoffs after we make that big trade for Jeffrey Simmons.
But it's also Thursday. You know how Thursday games are. Not to let them off completely, but Thursday games suck across the board, not just for the Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and as Darren said, look what happened to the 49ers last year. It was about this time of the year. We beat them, and then they lost 2 more for losing 3 in a row, and then they turned it on and went to the Super Bowl.
Good point. Yeah, it was 1 year ago yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, good point. Look at us all positive over here. Vikings first.
Speaking
of, I like it.
Someone said we remind them of the Wizard of Oz cast right now. And I mean, see, there's no place like home.
Yeah, there's no place like home. Speaking of which, what do we got going on this weekend? Darren?
Well, I'll be here on Saturday. I got some notes to write now.
Yes, you do. For 2 old bloggers. We talked about that on both Sal and I were guests on the Vikings Report with Ted, Drew, and Chris. And we talked about 2 old bloggers and how we've been at it for over 2.5 decades apiece. Back when the internet was new and it was a Wild West, we were doing our own blogs back then. So we got that on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have a special, do we not, Sal?
We do. On Sunday, we are going to have my tour of the U.S. Bank Stadium's new local food vendors and where you can find them, along with the long-awaited reviews. I know Tyler wants to try the mac and cheese lobster burger at Birch's on the Lake. I've got the review coming for you finally.
That sounds fantastic.
I've had that lobster burger. I actually had it in their restaurant. High recommend.
Yeah.
But it was weird. Did you taste the beef at all in that burger? Because all I could taste is the cheese and lobster. I was okay with it.
I think you mentioned it. I don't think so. Because I think I was just so, normally when you get something kind of gimmicky like that, the seafood, like the crab portion of it or it's like, it might be fake crab and I think that was so overpowering that maybe I actually didn't taste it. Yeah.
Fake.
I mean, it was great.
It was the most interesting burger I'd ever had, because I looked at my wife. I'm like, I don't taste the beef in this at all. It's really good, but the beef, it's almost just like a tasteless vessel for this cheese and lobster, which I wasn't complaining, but it was a very weird experience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should deconstruct it. I didn't think about that. Eat it separately. But also people are letting us know that the Wolves are sucking again tonight, so that's great news. Hi, Riley. Thank you for. I don't care.
2 of 82, Sal. It means fuck all.
What is it?
The Wolves will be fine.
What is it? Say that again.
No,
Your lobster.
This is game 2 of 82.
Oh, yeah. So cutting out this dog. She's kind of noisy. I did see somebody ask if she could play cornerback next week, and she is available, pending a physical.
Gotcha. Well, folks.
Yeah.
Barring any last words, let's call it a night. The Vikings lose again, 30-20, drop to 5-2, and we have lots to talk about on Saturday on Two Old Bloggers. So we break it all down, and I'm sure we'll both find stuff on that one. And then Sunday, with the special from Sal, we're going to learn more about that lobster cheeseburger burger. So it's going to be fun.
17 new local food vendors at US Bank Stadium this year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And of course, the tailgating's fantastic.
We got flexed, so we're going to have a great tailgate next week.
Uh-huh.
Will you guys be upright by the time the game starts?
Yes. Yeah.
Tailgating.
Well, at least I will. I can say that for sure. No, people are usually pretty good. People don't actually end up coming that early, which is sometimes disappointing. They should be there. But if anyone is listening to this that is going to come, please come early because we'll have the Packers and Lions game on. They're the 3:25 game. So where better to watch it?
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
And then you'll already be there. So
sounds great. See Thor's in the chat. Yes, Thor, JJ McCarthy. We miss him today. Boy, do we miss him. But
well, at least he didn't get face masks like that.
Yeah. But he's in there learning as a backup, minus the snaps. He's being developed. And that once a week with KOC or better, it's got to be a good thing for him. So he's got to, watching all of this, I think it's going to be good for him. And then next year, we're going to be ready to rock and roll. And he's going to make some of those passes that Sam Darnold misses. So I'm happy we got him. And the newest member, she's like, I want to sleep.
Actually, she looks like a sea turtle.
Oh, she's so cute.
She is. She's adorable.
Okay, talk to y'all later.
What do we say?
SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings.
Thanks for watching, everybody. SKOL Vikings. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And share this episode with your friends and even your enemies. We'd love it. Thanks for watching Vikings First and SKOL. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate each and every one of you. SKOL.